And we're going to go to former Congressman Tom DeLay, but first, this.
We have a great opportunity, and the people that are voting are Democrats are coming in, independents are coming in, and very, very importantly, people that never voted before. It's an incredible thing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump from last night joining us now. As promised, Tom DeLay, former U.S. House Majority Leader, former Congressman from the great state of Texas. Hello, sir.
Hi, Steve.
All right. Well, I got to tell you, not a good night for Ted Cruz by any measure. Donald Trump with the sweep, just about, except for the state of Ohio. What's your read right now as we go forward? What's going to happen?
Well, I wouldn't put it that way. First of all, Cruz is going to pick up some delegates out of Illinois and probably Missouri once those are allocated. But everybody, when Donald Trump wins the state, everybody throws up their hands and say, it's over, it's over, it's over. It's a long ways from over. I did the calculations this morning. Trump is the only one that can get a majority of the delegates, but he has to win at least 600 out of the 900 that are remaining. That's over 65%. He has to win. In other words, he has to run the table. All Cruz has to do is win 37% of the 900 remaining, and he keeps Trump from getting a majority going into the convention. So what I'm saying is none of them can get a majority of the delegates. We're going to a convention.
Well, I don't know, but let's work under that premise. If that is the case, and Trump is stopped just short, they're not going to give it to Cruz. They're probably not going to give it to Trump. I've heard today this guy from the Rules Committee of the RNC, the people don't decide, we decide. Priebus doesn't decide, he works for us, he's our CEO, we decide. And they're going to decide on Kasich or on Romney or on Paul Ryan, and that's a disaster.
No. It still takes the vote of the delegates that are representing the voters that have voted. The party cannot take over if Cruz comes in there with a big bunch of delegates and Trump comes in there with a big bunch of delegates. The party cannot control. That's not going to happen. What's going to happen is you're going to have three candidates, and those three candidates and you're going to have multiple votes, maybe, and the nominee is going to come from one of those three candidates. The delegates still get to choose. The delegates are the party as formed by the voters.
But what if they don't? One candidate still doesn't get enough votes? You're telling me there's no scenario where they give it to someone who's not one of the three?
Well, somebody's going to be close to getting the votes.
Well, Trump will be close when he goes in.
But you got all those delegates that have been given up by Rubio and Carson and others. There's at least 200 or 300 of those delegates that can vote any way they want to after the first vote. So there's a lot of room in there to negotiate back and forth. And I think what will happen is Cruz will cut a deal with Kasich, because Kasich doesn't want Trump either. And by the way, 60% of the voters don't want Trump either. So
Cruz cuts a deal with Kasich, and then Kasich Kasich, you're assuming he's going to win anything else. But Kasich then gives his delegates to Cruz and makes him his VP. Is that it?
Well, I don't know what kind of deal they'll cut.
Okay. But for Cruz to be the nominee is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And what do you think that does to the Trump supporters? And what does that do to the Democrats and independents?
Well, the Democrats and independents are trying to take over our party with Trump. I don't care what they think about a Republican convention. They can decide what they want to do during the general election.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, though. Won't they be disenchanted and angry? Trump said today there'll be riots in the streets. I hope not, and I don't know about riots in the streets, but you're going to have a whole lot of people who supported Trump who are going to sit home, and that's going to give it to Hillary.
Yeah, and if Trump gets the nomination, you're going to have even more people sitting home, and it goes to Hillary.
I don't agree with that.
I do.
Well, of course you do. You said it. All right, let's move on. What about the nomination of Merrick Garland by Obama today? It's a shocker, is it not?
I don't know if it's a shocker. The guy's not a constitutionalist. I know all the lawyers in America are rallying around him because they're part of that cabal or sorority or fraternity. But he's not a constitutionalist. He's nowhere near. He couldn't lick Scalia's boots. And I hope that's what people, especially in the Senate, will reveal. This is a guy that, at the best, you can call him a moderate. But we have to have, I mean, we have a lawless Supreme Court right now. We have a lawless president. And I think it's laughable that a lawless president is making a nomination and telling us what's in the Constitution. This guy is not worth even having a hearing.
All right.
He's not a constitutionalist.
I hear you, and we'll see how this progresses. Congressman, always great to talk to you, sir.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. Congressman Tom DeLay, ladies and gentlemen. Up next, Texas Congressman Louis Gohmert. The two may know each other a little bit. Don't go away.